e azul, Malaguedo. Welcome to the Malaka podcast. Phil Hartman.
What am I going to do? Just some characters and different things. I won't take a lot of your time.
Okay, this is
It's gonna be along that line. I'm not sure. Okay. Well, my name is Philip Hartman, and I'd like to introduce you to some of my characters. Mr. Music? This is my favorite character. His name is Chick Hazard. He's a hard-boiled private investigator. It was midnight when it happened. I was parked in front of Four Fingers of Bourbon at the Swanee Club on La Brea Avenue. Most ex-flyboys were making babies and buying refrigerators. But in the aftermath of my POW experience, I'd rekindled a relationship with two old pals, Jack Daniels and Jim Beam. My life was rapidly going down to porcelain convenience. I could barely afford cigarettes, whiskey, and food. Looked like the food was gonna have to go. I had two things in common with the colored patrons of the Swanee Club. We all loved Nat King Cole. And we were all fed up with white people. On that particular night, I was dancing cheek to cheek with a tabletop. I lifted my head, and she walked in. I was a sucker for long legs. I wanted to shitty up one of hers like a native boy looking for coconuts. She was the kind of blue-eyed blonde that Hitler based his racial theories upon. Statuesque like Lady Liberty. But I figured I'd be the one left holding the torch.
Ladies and gentlemen, I love this man. Although he passed away years ago, people still remember who he is. And that was the audition tape for Saturday Night Live. I believe Dana Carvey had a lot to do with him getting this audition tape. You know, before he just wanted to live a very simple life, do a couple acting gigs here and there. And once he got the job on Saturday Night Live, the sky was the limit. People knew he had a very strong presence about him, a lot of confidence, great voice. You know, he had kind of an everyday man kind of look, you know, but at the same time, he could just do so more. So it just made him that much more funnier. And charisma up the ass and a bit of a ladies' man. And, you know, he was a very interesting guy, you know, and his time was definitely cut short by I'm not going to say her name because I'll be honest with you. I think she's a cunt. I know a lot of people say you know, they blame you know, disorders and all that, but I know many people that have disorders, but they don't shoot people in their sleep and then hours later shoot themselves. So if I got to be the one to say it, then so be it. And I played this clip specifically because at the end there, he did mention a tall, blonde woman. So I think a lot of people here can already see the irony. But the point is, I want to celebrate Phil Hartman's life, and I want to talk about him. I've been meaning to do this one for a while, and I just watched a series that's airing on Vice called Dark Side of Comedy, and they recently did Phil Hartman. So I figured here's a good time as any. So, of course, you got to go on Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, because free is so good. It's beautiful. It doesn't cost anything. It's a beautiful thing. So, I like to talk about Mr. Phil Hartman today, and with the help of Wikipedia, I can do so. So, let's begin. Philip Edward Hartman, born September 24th, 1948, and passed away May 28th, 1998, was a Canadian-born American comedian, actor, screenwriter, and graphic designer. Hartman was born in Bradford, Ontario, Canada, and his family moved to the United States when he was just 10 years old. After graduating from California State University, Northridge, with a degree in graphic arts, he designed album covers for bands including Poco and America. In 1975, he joined the comedy group The Groundlings, where he helped Paul Rubens develop his character, Pee Wee Herman. Hartman co-wrote the film Pee-wee's Big Adventure and made reoccurring appearances as Captain Carl on Rubens' show Pee-wee's Playhouse. In 1986, Hartman joined the NBC sketch comedy show Saturday Night Live as a cast member and stayed for 8 seasons until 1944. Nicknamed Glue for his ability to hold the show together and help other cast members, he won a Primetime Emmy Award for his SNL work in 1989. He also starred as Bill McNeil in the sitcom News Radio, voiced Lionel Hutz and Troy McClure on The Simpsons, and appeared in sporting roles in the films House Guest, So I Married an Axe Murderer, Jingle All the Way, and Small Soldiers. After 2 divorces, Hartman married, I'm not going to say her name, I'm just going to call her Cunt, with whom he had 2 children. However, their marriage was troubled due to Phil Hartman's busy work schedule on SNL and the Cunt's drug and alcohol abuse. In 1998, while Phil was sleeping in his bed, the Cunt shot and killed him, and later killed herself. In the weeks following his murder, Hartman was celebrated in a wave of tributes. Dan Snyderson, I think I said that right, and Snyderson, yeah. The Entertainment Weekly wrote that Hartman was the last person you'd expect to read about in lurid headlines in your morning paper, and decidedly a regular guy, beloved by everyone he worked with. He was posthumously inducted into the Canada and Hollywood Walks of Fame in 2012 and 2014. Well deserved. And we definitely lost him way too soon. It's weird. Love is blind, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, that whole situation with him and his wife there. It just, first off, let me just say this: I feel horrible for the kids. I mean, that is just. I mean, no kid deserves to go through that. Second, it's a shame, the way things ended. Let's be honest. Phil Hartman, he was married a few times before that. I think in many ways he did want this to work. He really just tried. I mean, I think a lot of people always told him, look, you got to be careful, all that, But again, unless you live in those 4 walls, you don't know what's going on. You don't know how bad it gets or how good it gets, whatever. And sometimes it ends good. Sometimes it ends in a nightmare. And I remember when I first heard this, I was just like, wow, there's no way this is happening. I mean, it was very shocking to everybody involved, and it sucks, man. It really does. And you'd think to yourself like, oh, this could never happen to me, but you just never know. And then you definitely are, like you're not going to think it's going to happen to someone like in the public eye, you know what I mean? But it's crazy, man. I don't know. I again, no disrespect to Phil Hartman, but it always seemed like he did have somewhat, not trouble with women, or whatever, but it was never easy with him and women. Let's just say that. But his one sister had like a neurological disease, needed constant care. He was pretty much like the middle child, and he was always just looking for attention. I mean, you're not going to be Freud to figure this shit out. So, I'm sure a lot of it comes from his childhood and dealing with a lot of stuff like that. But it wasn't easy, and like I always forget that Phil Hartman was Canadian. I mean, I look at him, I see American, you know what I mean? But maybe it's just because, like, the smile, the look, just the way he, I don't know, it just something about him. It just, I mean, it doesn't say Bradford, you know what I mean? So, but then again, Wayne Gretzky's from Bradford, so there you go. By the way, the character that Phil Hartman was auditioning for in the beginning there for SNL was the character Chick Hazard, and you got to check out this picture. I mean, Chick Hazard, Private Eye. I mean, if this look doesn't say pimp in 1978, I don't know what does. But again, ladies and gentlemen, Phil Hartman was a really cool dude, and I was able to find some facts here on this thing called the internet from discoverwalks.com. And here's 10 amazing facts about Phil Hartman. And again, they have the same picture. So that's and they have it again. Wow. So 3 times. That's awesome. But including Wikipedia. But it is a really good picture. You got to check it out. But anyways, let's begin. So he was the glue that held SNL together. Now, I did mention this before, but let's talk about it again. Jan Hooks, a regular scene partner and Hartman's SNL co-star, gave her close friend the moniker The Glue because she helped her overcome stage shyness and was never hesitant to allow someone else to take center stage in a sketch. The cast and crew gave him a pedestal with a bottle of wood glue attached to it after he departed the program after 8 seasons. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to last 8 seasons on Saturday Night Live is awesome. I mean, some people, let's be honest, they don't even make it through 1 season. I mean, Larry David was a writer, and then he quit, and then he came back to the show thinking, nobody would remember that he quit, and years later that ended up being a Seinfeld episode. So there you go. But Kenan Thompson, I don't know, he's been on there for, I don't know, at least 32 years. So yeah, he's outlasted everybody. But the point is, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people say that, when Phil Hartman was just there, not even just on Saturday Night Live, but on movies, TV shows, I heard a lot of that on news radio as well, that he held everyone together. Like, he always helped people out. And I remember hearing Dan Aykroyd say that in a Howard Stern interview. He said, going to Second City. Now, he didn't go to Second City, Phil Hartman. He went to a thing called the Groundlings. The Groundlings is basically an acting sketch troupe, whatever. They used to. I'm told they had Second City in LA years ago, but then it just went away. I don't know what happened. But there's one in Chicago, Toronto. I was able to take classes there. It was awesome. Definitely something I can check off my bucket list. I did a podcast about that. If you want, check it out. If not, then I won't be offended. I swear. But that's just a nice Canadian in me. But deep down, go check it out. Anyways, so that's their version of it. And Aykroyd always said, you learn in Second City to help others in a sketch and just don't make it about you. And that's something I learned as well, because I'm an only child, so I'm used to, I'll be honest. Some days I just want people to fuck off and leave me alone. Let me do my thing, okay? It's like Brett Fox said, I'm so good alone, leave me alone and watch. But again, you when you're working with people, especially in a sketch show on a, stage, you got to learn to work together and help people out. So Phil Hartman was always great in doing that for people. And again, that's what made him such a likable guy. His parents had to make tough decisions. Sarah Jan Hartman, the youngest sister, needed 24-hour care since she was born in 1951 with a rare neurologic condition subsequently known as Angelman syndrome. Or is it Engelman syndrome? No, it's Angel. Yeah. When her parents and 7 siblings migrated from Canada to the United States in 1957, she was finally placed in a facility and did not go with them. Oh, I mentioned that before, but man, that's got to be tough. I mean, that is... Fuck, that's crazy, man. And then, Again, I don't have kids, but I know how tough it is, when you have a kid and and you're a parent that cares and you want literally everything, you know, good for your child. You want to do the best you can, and it gets to a point where you personally can't do anything else, and it's you have no choice but to put them, in a facility where they can be properly cared for. But they had to leave and literally go to another country, and it sucks, man. It's a hard pill to swallow for sure. He almost had a career in art. Well, even before that, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to say this: when he moved to California, apparently he loves surfing. I mean, I don't know. Can you picture like Phil Hartman on a surfboard, or I don't know. I can't. It's like him and the Fonz, like jumping the shark. I just can't picture it. I don't know. I'm sure he was, he loved it, whatever. But I don't know, like unless it's like some kind of sketch or something. I don't know. I don't see it. Wearing a white wig and pretend to be president. Yeah, absolutely. But we'll get to that in a bit. In the 1970s, Hartman turned his love of art and drawing, which had been nurtured in middle school when he and his brother would regularly stroll over to Disneyland, into a professional as an album cover and promotional material designer for bands. One of these was the Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Young. Yes, at one point they all were together. Background logo, which the group continues to use today. At Hartman's memorial ceremony, Graham Nash also gave a performance. When Hartman joined the comedic group The Groundlings in 1975, he chose to alter the group's emblem rather than pay the $25 monthly dues. There you go. Yeah, and a lot of people say he had the chops of a good drawer. I mean, he knew what to do, and he could have had a pretty good career doing that. But let's be honest. I think we're all glad that he did what he ended up doing. Being in okay Christmas movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yes, it did happen. I am going to talk about that. It's on my Christmas list every year. I don't give a shit. Fuck you guys. He was a roadie in 1960. Oh, who wasn't? When working as a roadie in the 1960s, Hartman once carried a bass. It's not fishing. For Buddy Miles during a Jimi Hendrix concert at the Experience in Los Angeles. Holy fuck! Now that's pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who Jimi Hendrix is, you're an idiot. He legally changed his name in search of good luck. Born Philip Hartman, he eventually omitted the second N from his last name because he believed that each letter had a symbolic numerical value according to the I Ching. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. An ancient Chinese book of changes. The destiny number for Phil Hartman is 8, which represents aspiration and a straightforward yet fulfilling family life. The name Phil Hartman has a destiny number of 3, which is more of an accordance with Hartman's aspirations for himself and translates to the height of creative satisfaction and the pinnacle of creation. In 1992, he officially changed his name to Phil Hartman. There you go. Okay. Hey, listen, we all got our beliefs. I still think the Leafs are going to win the Cup by 2030. The fuck do I know? His second wife described him as cheap. All right, well, she's actually on the special there. I don't know. Listen, I love my redheads. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, they got souls. It's just you gotta, you just gotta watch out for them. Even though Hartman had a number of cars, boats, and even an aircraft, he was notoriously frugal when it came to necessities. He was, in quotes, horrifically cheap. Is that a word? Okay. According to his second wife, Lisa Strain. Some jokes just write themselves. With whom he remained close friends up till his passing. Listen, I was just fucking around, okay? I love them redheads, man. The point is, obviously, listen, you want to save a couple bucks. You don't know when this shit's going to run out. I mean, some people spend money like crazy. You don't know. You don't know. Okay? You hear these stories about people having, millions of dollars, MC Hammer, and just blowing it. So you have no idea, how long it's going to last. So also says she also claims that he wouldn't even allow her to share the particular shampoo he used. Okay, that's pretty fucking cheap. I mean, but to be fair, man, I don't know. Like, you see prices nowadays, I don't know. Like, some shampoo. Listen, you go to Shoppers Drug Mart, okay? I'm going to call these fuckers out. I mean, first of all, it's bad enough. I mean, the customer service is just horrible. Second, I don't know, man. Like, sometimes they got, like, little bottles of shampoo for, like, $10. I mean, you're going to pay $10 for something that just goes down the drain anyway. Like, fuck off. I mean, Head and Shoulders. I'll take Head. Anyways, while they were married, they also maintained separate bank accounts. Well, that's smart. Listen, I agree with that one. I don't care, which is probably why I'm single. But the point is, listen, in this day and age, you have no idea who's gonna, hey, listen, I'm a guy. His friends didn't like his wife. Shocker. In 1987, when Hartman revealed his engagement plans to Groundling's friend and actress, Cassandra Peterson, Peterson exclaimed, "Oh God, no!" I assume it's something like that. Maybe she said it like Mo. Oh dear God, no. Simpsons. How fucking funny was he on The Simpsons, man? He was on the monorail episode. Remember the one that Conan wrote? He was that monorail dude, had like the weird blonde hair that the straw hat everybody wore in the 1920s. Moving on. The two didn't communicate again for years after Hartman politely requested her to leave his office. It was the first time, and I believe the last time, that Peterson saw him upset. Later, after Hartman and the cunt's son, Sean, was born, Hartman's ex-wife, Strand, it's all strained, sent the pair a card of congratulations and received a death threat in response from the cunt. Shocker. Jesus Christ. I tell you, again, let me just put this out there. Like I'm no, Don Juan DeMichael here, but again, that's being a player is almost like having a part-time job. Let's just keep it real, okay? I mean, again, Fred Hartman loved his women, and you wouldn't know that from looking at the guy. I mean, again, but then again, who looks like a player? I mean, you don't know. I mean, anybody with a fucking date app can be a player now, so it doesn't matter. But back in the day, you're famous, you gotta, I don't know, keep things under wraps, and it's crazy. It's crazy. That cunt was crazy. He would never go shirtless for SNL show. I'm right there with you. Chris Farley and the other SNL cast members were more than eager to be naked for the program, but Hartman wouldn't even remove his shirt for comedy. I'd do it for comedy and a good paycheck for sure. I'll jiggle my titties. I don't care. But hey, some people, I don't know, whatever. I don't know. I understand why. I mean, he wasn't a fat guy or nothing. I mean, Farley did it, so I don't know. What are you gonna do? Maybe he had like weird nipples or something, like Eugene Levy in that one movie. I don't know. What was the name of the movie? I forgot. I don't know. I love Eugene Levy. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying. I mean, it was kind of distracting. It's a little, I don't know. It wasn't like distracting like the girl in Godfather, you know, where you're looking and you're like, she doesn't really. Those are like invisible nipples. He became inadvertently involved in a feud between Andy Dick and John Lovitz. Who doesn't fight with Andy Dick? I mean, this guy lives up to his name. That sexuality. The cunt who battled sobriety intermittently for years may have received cocaine from the actor's news radio co-star Andy Dick at a New Year's Eve party held at Hartman's house in 1997. Ugh, fuck. It's nothing but weird fucking things with this guy. I mean, Andy Dick's just a weird fucking dude, man. I don't know. Like, I've even heard stories now where, like, or I heard this years ago that he got divorced from his wife, but he wouldn't leave the property, so he lived in the back of the house in a shed. It was a whole thing there. And then there's that good story where I don't know, Artie and Norm were like Artie Lang and Norm Macdonald, rest in peace to Norm, I love him, did a few podcasts about him, and he saw like Andy Dick or no, Artie saw, like, Artie was supposed to keep an eye on like Farley or Andy Dick or one of those guys. It's that's not going to help, but Andy Dick and Chris Farley went to the bathroom together there, and like Artie made a joke saying, "Listen, there's only two reasons why you go in the bathroom with Andy Dick." And then Norm Macdonald right away said, "Oh my God, I hope he's high." Yeah. So, I mean, it's just this guy's a fucking mess. Witnesses witnessed Dick and the cunt. I'm gonna keep calling her the cunt. I don't care if you don't like it. Turn it off. Go fuck yourself. You know, you kill a legend. Listen, you kill somebody in their fucking sleep. I mean, that's, I don't know. Who was the one chick that cut off the guy's dick? Lorna Bobbitt, and then I don't know. Some person picked it up by fluke, and it could have been eaten by a dog. Who knows? I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. You do. Listen, ladies, let me just put this out there, okay? I don't give a fuck how crazy you are, and don't get me wrong, guys. Like, we're crazy too, But so this, I guess, this goes both ways. But you want to get back at somebody, don't do something to them in their sleep, okay? Have the balls to do it while they're awake, okay? Remember in Goodfellas? Remember when Karen was on top of Henry there? She waited till he was awake. Did they have the best relationship? Absolutely not. But she waited for him to be up. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Briefly locked themselves in the restroom. Despite Dick's claim that he doesn't remember. Bullshit. John Lovitz, a close friend of Hartman's, who I fucking love, by the way. I'm going to do a podcast about him one day. I fucking love John Lovitz. If you ever see I saw it again recently, the cartoon show The Critic. Fucking hilarious. Had a 10-year-long vendetta against Dick because he thought Dick had actually given the cunt drugs. This hatred accumulated in an altercation at the Laugh Factory in West Hollywood in 2007, when Lovitz picked Andy up by the head and smashed him into the bar 4 or 5 times. Ladies and gentlemen, if I ever get my hands on Handy Dick there, yeah, it's going to be a problem too. But for legal purposes, I'm just joking. Haha, whatever. The point is, yeah. I mean, you can't blame him. I mean, Andy. I think at one point Andy Dick, yeah, even made a joke about it, and yeah, I mean, like the guy's a fucking idiot. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it just, like, who gives drugs to someone who's been off the wagon for like years anyway? I mean, you're just asking for trouble too. I mean, like, good Lord, the guy's a fucking mess. I don't know. I hope the shed falls on top of him. Allegedly, I don't think that because, I don't want to get in shit, legal purposes. His death changed at least one person's mind on guns. Actor Ed Begley Jr. claims that he lost of a close friend led him to give up a shotgun he had kept in his house as a safety measure. After that, he adds, I didn't want a gun in the house. I then took it to the police station in North Hollywood. I entered the room empty and stated, I want to get rid of this pistol. I oppose its presence in the world. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can't blame him. I mean, I live in Canada, so, I mean, the only times I hear about guns are, I don't know, basically every, I don't know, few days on the news. I mean, it's fucking getting to be real shit nowadays, but I don't know, are they coming from the border? Are they coming from the ports in Montreal? I don't know, are they dropping them from the sky? Who the fuck knows? But I don't know. But in America, like, what is it? One for every one person, there's 30 guns out there. I mean, it's fucking crazy. I don't know what the fuck you need a gun for. But I don't know. I mean, if at least it changes one person's life, then all the power to him. He played the father in Pineapple Express, by the way. He's been in a lot of other shit. I'm just saying, I always just remember him in that. And actually, ironically, in that scene, he actually had a gun in the house. So, all right, that wasn't the best example. But the point is, I remember when Seth Rogen says, you use the name Garagely. Yeah, I'm stupid. But the point is, apparently Phil Hartman had a huge love for guns. At one point, he... I don't know, called somebody in the room and says, hey, look at all the stuff I got. And he whipped out like all these drawers like full of guns. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like Phil Hartman, and I like, really? Phil Hartman's like a gun nut? Really? I mean, I don't know. Like he's like an acting Ted Nugent or something. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, it was just weird. I don't know. But a lot of people didn't see that coming. But yeah, I don't know. It's just... again, you really don't know someone's past or whatever, like how they thought. And they even said like Phil Hartman had like this weird thing where, you know, he would, and they mentioned this in the one show, Dark Side of Comedy, where like he would like, he didn't like confrontation. You know, he did not like it. He, like a lot of times, like someone just yell in his face, whatever, or an ex or whatever. And like, he would just be like, all right, whatever. And just walk away and then go to bed, just, that's it. Like he had like no emotion whatsoever. That's how his second wife described it there. You know, like at one point it was just so, and it is weird. It's almost it's like robotic. You know what I mean? So, but again, maybe it's just him growing up in that weird environment. Maybe, you know, with his family, you know, dealing with all that and his sister, and you know, again, I'm not judging. I'm just saying, you know, you can't blame him. And it gets to a point, honestly, and even like I can stand by this, where it's like you've been through like enough shit in your life, enough confrontation in your life, and you know, being in security for 16 years, you never see any confrontation. And you know, it gets to a point where it's just like, you know what, I'm done. That's it. Like I'm not mad anymore. I'm not whatever, you know, and you just don't want to deal with that shit. So again, you know, you'll never really know anybody 100%. I've always said that. I think most 80, 90%, but you don't know what was going on in Phil Hartman's head. I mean, some people deal with the shit differently, and you know, that's just the way he dealt with it. You know what I mean? So, but he still loved, on some level, he still loved to entertain, go out there and, you know, make people laugh. And, you know, he was lucky to make a huge career out of it. I mean, he never wanted that career like to be that big. He was just happy with doing all these little parts, whatever. But you know, still, that was his thing. So, but speaking of that, of course, we got to go on IMDb, not Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, we're better than that. You know, I mean, for some reason they think the movie Get Out is good. The point is, I feel, okay, that we should get out of the house. Unlike the movie. No, they got a, well, no, I don't know. They were, I just don't get the big deal in that movie. I'm sorry. I still say, you know, that was a failed sketch that he did on Mad TV and he made into a movie. All the power to him. Don't get me wrong. I think it's fucking awesome. I mean, you know, like if Saw taught us anything, that one, you know, that movie was stupid too. But, you know, you can have a simple thing, make a big movie out of it, you know, like the video game there about the stupid Chuck E. Cheese dolls or something they ripped. I don't know. I don't care. Again, I don't know where I'm going with this. But the point is, let's go on IMDb and figure out where Phil Hartman first started. Okay? Because it's way more interesting than anything I just said the last 30 seconds. So the very first thing he did, it says here, it looks like a movie called Stunt Rock, movie, TV show. I'm assuming it's a movie. And he played uh, Monique's assistant. Okay, so this came out in 1978. I've never heard of this. I have no idea. But again, I'm not going to lie. It has a kick-ass movie poster. It looks pretty good. Death Wish at 120 decibels. Nice. I like it. While working on a TV show in Los Angeles, famed Australian stuntman Grant Page helps an up-and-coming fantasy-themed rock band develop special effects and dangerous stunts for the act. Well, the movie's only got a 5.5 rating out of 10, but it looks pretty cool. I mean, I'm assuming maybe he got this job because he knew somebody on the set here. I mentioned before he was part of that whole like rock band thing, whatever. Being a roadie. So I'm sure he used that experience there, and there you go. So if you want, check it out. And he was on a TV series called The 6 O'Clock Foleys. Matt Foley? No, it's spelled different. The Gong Show movie. Now, I didn't even know they made a movie out of The Gong Show. I remember the Gong Show, we all know what The Gong Show is, okay? We all saw the movie with, what's his name? Sam there. Shit, I forgot his name. I'm drawing a blank. My bad. But he won an Oscar years later. He's a good dude. Yeah, so they made a movie of it. I didn't even know that. I don't buy that shit that he was an FBI agent, while he was hosting a show. That's fucking stupid. Bullshit. It's good for the movie, though. Cheech and Chong's next movie. Oh, yeah, this is where he played Chick Hazard Private Eye. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I haven't watched this one in a while. I always watch Cheech and Chong Up in Smoke. It's a classic. We all know that. Got the ball rolling for all the stoners there. Just mentioned recently that Snoop Dogg quit smoking weed or quit smoke. We're still trying to figure that one out. So all the power to Snoop. I just hope he's all right. But yeah, of course. So he's part of that Groundlings thing, and yeah, there you go. Then, at this time, still doing the Groundlings, like I mentioned before, they wanted to do a sketch, with the Paul Rubens character, Pee-wee. So they ended up making a TV movie called The Pee-wee Herman Show. And of course, Phil Hartman was part of that. He was a writer on that. They're like, fuck it. Why not? Let's do it. So, he played Captain Carl and Monsieur Le Croc. All right. So there you go. And the movie's a 8 out of 10. I don't remember. I remember more of the show. I watched the show recently because I did the Paul Rubin podcast there. Rest in peace to him. Yeah, I forgot how trippy and great that show was. I mean, that show was way ahead of its time, the Pee Wee Herman Show. If you got a chance, check it out. But yeah, I don't really remember the movie. I don't know. I think it was on like HBO or something. Keep in mind, this is when HBO was like first starting, you know what I mean? So there you go. Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out again for sure. But you should check it out as well. Pandemonium. He played a reporter. Not the best rating. The Little Rascals TV series. Looks like a cartoon they did. He just did some additional voices there. Which again, by the way, I mean, Phil Hartman, I got to say this. I mean, Phil Hartman, definitely one of my inspirations growing up when it came to voice and just the way, he presented himself, like everything about him, like the face, the smile, the hair, like, hey, how you guys doing today? Just very, radio-y voice and just a great voiceover. And he could have, just made a living off that alone. I mean, he just had a great voice, so not surprised. Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo TV series, of course, additional voices there. Dukes of Hazzard. They made a cartoon, Dukes of Hazzard, really? Fuck, I didn't remember that. Then again, I was born in 82. So, yeah, voices on that one. Then he was in a movie called Weekend Pass, where he played Joe Chicago. Then he was in a TV movie, Cheeseball Presents. Played various characters in that. He was in an episode of Magnum P.I., the original Stash. There you go. He played a newsreader, voice uncredited. All right. The new Scooby-Doo Mysteries, again, more voice work. Pink Panther and Son, voice work. Van Halen, Hot for Teacher. He played Waldo. I haven't seen his video in a while, but he was the voice, eh? Shit, I remember that. Okay, cool, great song. You know, it. I mean, I guess this song led to students fucking more teachers. I mean, it seems I don't know. Like when I was going to school, like I don't know, all the female teachers looked like me, and nowadays I don't know, they're all hot, and I don't know. Like I heard one story about the two hot teachers making out in a closet one time during break. It's a whole fucking different world, man. I mean, I want to skip so much. Then he was in a TV show called Sarah, where he played Drake. Oh, Gina Davis, nice. Wait, is that Belky? Yeah, it's Belky. Yeah, I never heard of the show. A workplace comedy centered around a young lawyer in San Francisco. Okay, all right. There you go. Now he's doing a lot of voiceover work, some movies here and there. You know, doing the whole Groundlings thing. You know, we all know that. So now they're like, okay, you know, the success of this Pee Wee's, you know, show, whatever, you know, they obviously, you know, wanted to capitalize on that. And of course, they make a movie. So, Pee Wee's Big Adventure. Okay, and this is an official movie. I believe the movie did pretty well. You know, and of course, you know, at the time, they're still buddies. We're going to get into that in a little bit, why it kind of soured in a bit, but you know, he played a reporter in the movie. And Pee Wee's Big Adventure. There you go. Great movie. I grew up loving the Pee Wee Herman show, like I said before. Yeah. We all know what he did later on, but I mean, before that, man, it was huge. You know, again, I really recommend that you go back and watch the shows, but the movie's great as well. To this day, I still want a bicycle like that. You know, despite hating bicycles, that one kicks ass. But other than that, it's a great movie. So if you got the chance, check it out. Challenge of the GoBots. Sounds familiar. I don't know. But then again, it was the 80s. Everything was robots. The Jetsons. He did some voiceover work on that. Shit, I didn't know that. The 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, of course. Scooby-Doo keeps calling. You know, gotta go. Then he was in a movie called Last Resort. I don't know this movie. It looks like one of those like 80s kind of campy kind of movies. Charles Grodin, rest in peace to him. Yeah. Okay. Judging by the cover, I might check it out. Ruthless People. He was the newsreader in that one. Voice uncredited. Just again, getting these simple paychecks. Going to a studio, saying some lines for a few days. Boom. Love it. Jumping Jack Flash. He played Fred. What is this? Is this about the... No, this has nothing to do with... the Stones. No. It stars Whoopi Goldberg. She looks very excited in the movie poster. Okay. What's the movie she did with Ted Danson? And then they end up going out. I still don't believe that they went out together. Right? Like her and Ted Danson. I don't know. You know, not because of the black and white thing, but just I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't know. The personalities don't match. I don't know. But okay, so at this point, ladies and gentlemen, I think we know that Pee Wee, you know, has created some good buzz at this point. Very good character that Paul Reubens has created. You know, alongside with Phil Hartman, he did a lot of the writing on that, and they decided to do Pee Wee's Playhouse. Okay, which you know, lasted I don't know, quite a few seasons. I think 4 or 5, something like that, and. One season was cut very short because there was a writer's strike, but Other than that, it was a huge hit show, guys. Again, I think I've said this 3 times already. Go check out the show. Trust me, it's very trippy. And of course, Phil Hartman played Captain Carl. So, but the problem here was at one point, they kind of had a verbal agreement between him and Phil and Paul here. Yeah, when the show became, or when the movie became a show, it was kind of an unwritten rule or something that he was supposed to get 4 or 5 points off the total gross, something like that, and then kind of, Pee Wee Herman kind of blew him off there, and that's why he's only in the beginning of the show, Phil Hartman, and that's it. I always wondered that too, because I remember years later, I remember finding out, like when he was on Saturday Night Live, I was like, oh yeah, that's right, he was on Pee Wee's Playhouse. I forgot about that. So, again, I was born in '82, so I'm playing catch up here. And it wasn't like the internet was around here, so unless it was in a newspaper, nobody fucking knew anything. But yeah, it's unfortunate that I don't think they ever did resolve that, and that sucks. I'm not gonna lie, because I don't know. It seemed like these two guys were really close at one point. I mean, I've seen clips of them on stage together, doing sketches together, all that. But I don't know, money be the root of all evil. What can I tell you? But I mean, in the end, when you got a chance, again, hopefully, it'll probably be the last time I say this, but check out Pee Wee's Playhouse, the movies. It's all good. And keep in mind, Phil Hartman had a lot to do with creating that show and the character. So just keep that in mind when you watch it. Three Amigos. Great movie. Haven't seen this one in a while, but I completely forgot Phil Hartman was in this. He plays a character named Sam. Definitely going to check this one out. But yeah, classic comedy. From the 80s, you got Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, Martin Short. Nowadays, you can check out Steve and Marty there together in, was it Only Murders in the Building? Chevy Chase, he's chilling these days, but I don't know, I've seen a lot of little videos he does on online there. I think it's pretty funny. But yeah, good little movie. But again, I haven't seen this one in a while. I completely forgot Phil Hartman was in this. No disrespect. But yeah, Dennis the Menace. I do remember this show growing up. Yeah, this one. Yeah, yes, I do remember this one. He did do a couple voices. He did Henry Mitchell and George Wilson. He did Wilson, really? Fuck, I don't remember that. No shit. And he did Ruff, which I'm assuming is the dog. Put 2 and 2 together there. Yeah, it's a good little show. I mean, Dennis the Menace was a comic strip. For those of you who don't know what a comic strip is, I don't blame you. I don't even think they have them in newspapers anymore. People don't read newspapers. Okay, this is how old I am. But yeah, there you go. If you want, check it out. There's a movie called Blind Date, which I have no idea what this movie is. It's a Bruce Willis movie. Okay. Shout out to Bruce Willis. I hope he's doing better. A workaholic needs a date for a dinner with a new important clientele, but who his brother sets him up with could lead to disaster. If that's not classic 80s comedy, I don't know what is. So Kim Basinger, that's who that is. Yeah, there you go. Is it Basinger or Basinger? Okay. I remember her from Wayne's World 2. A lot of people might remember her from being Eminem's mom in 8 Mile. Yeah. She's cool. I like her. But, yeah, I've never seen this movie. The Brave Little Toaster. Fuck, I remember this. This is an old school cartoon about a toaster who is very brave, and yeah, he did more voices in it. He did voices for everybody. He played the voice for the air conditioner and the hanging lamp. There you go. It's a cute little movie. I liked it. I don't know. I thought it was funny. Spaceballs. He was a voice in that. No shit. I don't remember that either. He was a voice for Dink. Yeah, it says uncredited, but. Yeah, I don't remember that. But again, Spaceballs, one of Mel Brooks' best movies ever. fucking awesome. Rest in peace to John Candy. I love that man. But yeah, fuck, I didn't even know that. Wow. I don't know. It's like finding out when I don't know. Like you find out recently that Andre 3000. You know, he's come. He did the album come out already with him just playing flutes, no rap, and now he says he's done flute playing for other bands, but he didn't want to be credited or something. So, all right, that's all right. Amazon Women on the Moon. He played the baseball announcer. Of course he did. Of course he did. DuckTales. Woo! He was Captain Fry. Did the voice in that? Okay. DuckTales. Kick ass. You know, it's tales about ducks. Foo Fur. Voiceover, of course. Why not? Fletch Lives, which I'm assuming is the sequel to the other Fletch movie. This one, not so good. But I don't know. What are you going to do? On the television, there's a TV series he did. Various characters or voiceovers, who knows. How I Got into College, the Michael story. No, I'm kidding. No, it's just he played Benedict. Kiki's Delivery Service. Okay. The Smurfs. We all know those beloved blue. What are they? Like are they elves or are they ants? I like what exactly is a Smurf? I don't even know. You know, I don't know. It always drove me Smurfing nuts. I stuttered on that. I fucked that one up. But it wasn't that funny anyway. Fantastic Max. He's so fantastic. How come we never heard of him? There's a TV movie called Red Pepper. Okay, here we go. Okay, 1990. We're up to 1990. I'll keep you up to the dates here. He's in the movie Quick Change with Bill Murray. Okay, now to me, a lot of people didn't like this one. I don't know, but I think the first half is really good. The second half, it's okay. Overall, I think it's a good little movie. I don't know. People, I don't know. They shortchanged it. You know, I don't know any more of these shitty jokes I have, but the point is, I like that. That was a good little Bill Murray movie. I mean, is it Groundhog Day? No, but I accidentally came across some quotes. I usually don't do that on IMDb, what people quoted, but I don't know, it's meant to be. And Phil Hartman said, I'm a really big fan of Bill Murray. He's been a great influence on me. When he did that smarmy thing in Ghostbusters, smarmy. Okay, let's see here. Smarmy, definition, in radiating and wielding in a way that is perceived as insincere or excessive. Yeah, that's his character in Ghostbusters for sure. All right, see, we learn something new every day. Then the same sort of thing in Groundhog Day. I tried to imitate it. I couldn't. I wasn't good enough. But I discovered an element of something else. So in a sick kind of way, I made myself a career by doing a bad imitation of another comic. I know who I am as a person, but as a comic actor, I'm still trying to figure it out. Listen, if you're going to, if anybody deserves his accolades, it's Mr. Bill Murray. I did a whole podcast about him. I believe it's my longest one I ever did, 3 hours and 20 minutes. If you can get through that one, please subscribe. But, if you're going to look up, to anybody in this business, it's Bill Murray, man. Bill Murray's the man. And, man, I like this movie. But again, I do not remember Phil Hartman in this one. I do remember it is a funny movie, so check it out. Bill and Ted Excellent Adventures, the TV cartoon series. Why? Because, listen, for some reason in the early 90s specifically, actors, all these movies from the 80s, they made them in the cartoons. Don't ask me why. Some of these shows lasted like one season, if that. But then some of these seasons were like 50, 60 episodes. So I don't know. Go figure. But yeah, I don't remember. Well, no. Do I? Is it Bill and Ted? Excellent adventures. It's a party. That's for sure. Was that it? Bodacious, so bodacious. Yeah, I didn't have that big of a life as a kid. But the point is, yeah, if you want to check it out, it's up to you. The Adventures of Don Coyote and Sancho Panda. That sounds pretty random. Gravedale High. Again, these are both cartoons, just doing the voices there. Bobby's World. Oh boy, you know who Howie Mandel is? Of course you do. Fellow Baldy, represent. But before he was, Deal or No Deal, he was a comic. He was known as a comic that put a rubber glove on his head for some reason. I didn't even know that until I saw him reference it on Family Guy, and then I had to look at the old videos. I'm like, really, he did that shit? Like, okay, yeah, he had hair and everything, but then he had a cartoon, for a while. So, yeah, it was all right. Yeah, Sarah Palin. I don't know. There was a character in that show that I don't know. Could have been her sister, but the point is, check it out. Tiny Toon Adventures. Again, all these cartoons were just exploding in the 90s. And of course, Phil Hartman was right there. He's cashing in, getting these checks every few days. Tiny Toon Adventures, kind of like if like the Looney Tunes characters had kids, this is, the kind of the next generation thing going there. Good little video game too on Nintendo as well. Kind of copied, Mario 3, but who didn't? Mario 3 is still the king, and my favorite video game of all time. Moving on. Tailspin. Oh, yeah. Oh, yo. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yo. Oh, yo. When you get it, spin it. Oh, yeah. Tailspin. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been known to watch a few episodes of Tailspin. I'm not going to lie. But again, it was one of those seasons. I just found this out recently that only lasted one season. But again, it had like 60-some episodes. But hey, Phil Hartman was in there. And yes, I actually do remember this character. He was kind of cocky. Ace London. But you got that right. Empty Nest, another. Oh no, this is a real life show. Okay, there you go. It's a TV series. He showed up in that one. Captain Planet and the Planeteers. Oh Jesus, I remember this blue green wanted to save the Earth dude. Remember when Don Cheadle made fun of him on Funny or Die? There, yeah. It's. I mean, it was a cartoon before that, obviously, but there you go. Fuck. I mean, Phil Hartman's getting some nice paychecks, man. We're only in 1991 here. Darkwing Duck. There you go. Let's get dangerous. Woo, woo. And I also heard recently that Seth Rogen is bringing back Darkwing Duck. So I'm down. Good video game too, man. Jesus. The Tailspin one wasn't good. That's why I didn't say anything about that. But yeah, good little show. Good show, man. All right. This is some nice paychecks, man. Oh, jeez. There you go. TV movie One Special Victory, which I did not see. Fish Police. Yeah, no. Looks like more voiceover work. Yeah, okay. Never heard of that one. Schiller's Real $1 Million Zombie. It was a TV movie he did. He played Ed McMahon. Okay. Which, he played on Saturday Night Live. But we're going to get into that in a bit. Parker Lewis Can't Lose. Oh, boy. Now, listen. Parker Lewis can do anything. Does he always win? I mean, look at the title. Parker Lewis Can't Lose. He can never lose. The show was okay. It was it's got a way higher rating than I thought it would. Wow, 7.9. No shit. I don't remember it being that good. Fun fact, the guy, the big guy in the background there, he is, what's what's his name? I always forget. Abraham Ben Ruby. Oh yeah, he's lost a lot of weight too. His brother is the guy from My Name Is Earl. He's lost a lot of weight too. Yeah, it looks like they both lost weight together. Yeah, so there you go. So, but yeah, the show was okay. I mean, nothing too crazy, but I don't know. I didn't mind it actually. It kind of gave uh, like it wasn't like a documentary series like how they do like The Office, whatever. But it sort of did. Like he talked into the camera, and I don't know. It's one of the first shows that I remember actually did that. So that was popular anyway. So yeah, there you go. Eek the Cat. Yeah, more voiceover work. I'm more of a Garfield guy. Tom and Jerry's Kids Show. There you go. I watched the original ones. For some reason, I don't know. You watched the first episode, the very, very, very first episode of Tom and Jerry, and I don't know, the woman called Tom Jasper, which I don't know. I didn't get that. But Loaded Weapon 1, which is making fun of all these Lethal Weapon movies. Just one of those movies makes fun of shit. And yeah, Phil Hartman was in that one. It was a funny movie. I like that one. CB4. Wow, I totally forgot about this movie. Chris Rock, man. So again, this movie was just basically just like a rap mockumentary, just making fun of like gangster rap and all that. Chris Rock was in there, and apparently Phil Hartman was in there too. So yeah, I haven't watched that one in a while, but I liked it. That was funny. Daybreak. It's a TV movie starring Cuba Gooding Jr. In the movie poster, looking I don't know, very, very proud of himself. Okay. I did not see that one. The Larry Sanders Show. Listen, this is one of the funniest fucking shows of all time. I love Larry Sanders. Oh man, this is such a good show. And you know what's funny about this show? Long story short, I'm gonna talk about this like first off, rest in peace to Gary Shandling. I always say this, like when I was going through some like panic attacks in like 2016, 17. It was a whole thing. I'll talk about panic attacks one day in a podcast, I promise. But I remember watching this show, and like I know the show came out way before. I know in the 90s, whatever. But I was late to the party on this one. But yeah, I heard so much about the show at one point. I was just like, I got to catch up and finally watch it. And this show is fucking hilarious, man. So again, rest in peace to Gary Shandling. Fucking hilarious. Jeffrey Tambor, Rip Torn. Rest in peace to him too. Listen, man, we could use a guy like Rip Torn. Okay. This fucking pussy generation. But the point is, ladies and gentlemen, very funny show. A lot of actors respected Gary Shandling and would just show up on. I mean, the whole point of the show is that he was a late night host. So they would just show up as himself or as themselves. Of course, Phil Hartman did that, and there you go. So I highly encourage that you watch this show. It's a great show. Love it. One of the best comedic shows out there for sure. Absolutely. Coneheads. I mean, look, it's not Dan Aykroyd's best movie. It's definitely not his worst. That's for sure. The problem with this movie was, I'm going to do one on Dan Aykroyd one day. I promise. Long story short, not much of a plot in this movie. But if you watch it today, you're going to be stunned on how many people were in this movie. All right, it was just insane. Everybody that was anybody in the last, I don't know, whatever. Like your mind will be blown. Okay, trust me. So I would just check it out just because of that. I mean, the sketches on Saturday Night Live were way funnier. No disrespect, but yeah, it was. I mean, even Chris Farley ends up going out with what's her name, Parker Posey there. That's got the cone head there. Well, they all had cone heads. I mean, that's the whole point of the movie. So if you got a chance, I would still check it out. Some of that 90s nostalgia. So I Married an Axe Murderer. Oh God, maybe not the best title here for describing shit. But the point is, this movie was okay. It had its moments. When Michael or Mike Myers, sorry, Mike, it's all good. When Mike Myers played the old uncle there in makeup, whatever, that was by far the funniest shit in the movie. That was really, I mean, even the one actor there, what's his name, Anthony LaPaglia, like you could tell he's laughing in the scene, but he's actually laughing. I mean, it's just they probably just decided to just keep it in there. Fuck it, But yeah, I forgot Phil Hartman was in this one too. I mean, yeah, it's an all right movie. It's it's no Shrek or Austin Powers, but that was all right. So I did a podcast about Mike Myers, of course, and being the proud Canadian that I am, yeah, I would still check it out for sure. Animaniacs. This was a good show. I watched the recent new one. It's okay, but it doesn't beat the original. But of course, with the PC world, you can only say so much shit anyway. But of course, he did more voiceover work. Yes, great cartoon show. You got the chance, check it out. I don't know what these guys are. Like, are they supposed to be bears? Or I don't know. They bust out of the water tower at the Warner Brothers there. So. 12 Days of Christmas. It's a TV movie. He did not see this one. The Critic. There you go. So I mentioned this before with John Lovitz, who I love so much. Very funny dude. If you got the chance, check out the recent, maybe a year ago he did like a interview he did on Howard Stern. He did I forgot, he did impersonation of some political guy that was being made fun of at the time. But then afterwards, for a half hour, he talked about, old stuff like Saturday Night Live. It was really cool. Yeah. So, but John Lovitz, I still feel to this day is very underrated, very funny dude. If you got the chance, check out The Critic. It still holds out today. I mean, obviously, everyone today, including this dickhead that's speaking, is a film critic. But I mean, back in the day, you would go on TV shows. So it's kind of making fun of the whole Siskel and Ebert thing. If you don't know who Siskel and Ebert is, I did a podcast about those two Malakas too. Rest in peace. And yeah, so check it out. But yeah, Phil Hartman was on that, of course. They were good buddies, Why not? Then he was in a movie called Greedy. Oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah. Michael J. Fox. Yeah. Kirk Douglas. Yeah. They're all after this guy's old money here. Yeah, I didn't mind this movie, actually. I thought this movie was all right. I don't know, I had a good little cast of people here. I don't know. I didn't mind it. I don't know. It's one of those movies, if you're bored on a Sunday, you throw it in. Why not, If you want to check out a really good movie, probably Michael J. Fox's best movie he ever did was, obviously Back to the Future. I know that. We all know that. Okay? The second one's still good. The third one, people are iffy about. I still like it. I don't care. To me, I still say it's the best trilogy of all time. And I swear to fucking God, if they remake that shit or reboot it, or, hey, let's put a woman character in there. And again, I'm not trying to be sexist, but don't fucking fuck with it, okay? Leave it alone, okay? Hollywood, think of some new ideas. I know the writers and actors just, you guys all signed agreements again, but, if you got to take another 6 months off, fuck it. Think of some new ideas. Jesus Christ. The point is, Greedy, it's a decent movie, came out in 1994. Saturday Night Live presents Bill Clinton's all-time something. I got cut off. It's a TV movie. Really? He did okay. So, of course, at this point, okay, when you see Saturday Night Live, okay, obviously he was on there for 8 years, had a very good run there. And I'm sure like classic IMDb fashion, they're going to mention it like, way later. But the point is, guys, I forgive you. It's okay. You guys still better than Rotten Tomatoes. Point is, Phil Hartman really shined on Saturday Night Live. You could tell once he was done from that. I mean, I'm surprised he even stayed on there for that long. But he developed a lot of great characters, a lot of good relationships there, good friendships. One of my personal favorites is when he was the caveman lawyer. I always thought that was funny. Bill Clinton, when he's going for a jog with his two bodyguards, and he goes into McDonald's and he just starts talking politics to everyone, starts eating all their food. That's a classic sketch. If you ever have the chance, check that one out. I'm sure it's on YouTube. It's fucking hilarious. But Phil Hartman, he just had it, man. I mean, you could tell. I mean, years later, when they hired a guy like Daryl Hammond, you could tell that was very reminiscent of that. That's why I love Daryl Hammond as well. You know, I feel he was almost like that type as well. But Phil Hartman, man, I mean, he killed it on Saturday Night Live. I mean, he was so good, and he was part of that era where, like I mean, man, let's be honest, if it wasn't for Eddie Murphy, I mean, that show would have been canceled. The mid '80s there were kind of fuck. I mean, okay, now it's really gonna get canceled, and you know, guys like Phil Hartman helped keep that show afloat. Okay, so I'm not surprised he stayed on there for 8 years. I mean, they probably gave him a couple extra bucks. You know, probably with like they did with Will Ferrell. The last few years he was on there, but yeah, I mean, he was just excellent. But you could tell he was gonna do more things afterwards, and be more of a household name by himself. And there you go. Then he did the Page Master, which sort of sounds familiar. It's about books, so I probably didn't see it. The Crazy Sitter. I was gonna say Crazy Sister. What's the difference? No, This is a movie that got a horrible rating. The Crazy Sitter. Did I ever have a Crazy Sitter? No. Hot Ones. Yeah. You hear stories about these guys that when they're younger they had sex with their babysitters, and not me. Extraterrestrial Alien Encounter. It's a short he did. House Guest. Here we go. Okay, so, all right. It's 1995. You got Phil Hartman. You got Sinbad. Okay, Sinbad. I saw a thing about him recently. I hope he's doing better too. I know he's got he's working with the illness there and all that. I always liked Sinbad. I mean, he always got a bad rep. I don't know why. I thought he was a good dude. I don't know. I mean, I know his one show he did that. Listen, that show introduced Selma Hayek to the world. Okay, even before Desperado. So for that, I'm gonna love Sinbad forever. But in all honesty, it's a cute little movie. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too whatever. I liked it. Okay, in hot water with the mob over an unpaid debt, a conman poses as a family friend in a affluent Pennsylvania suburb. Okay, so I will say this. I mean, this is a movie that will never be made today, simply because it really doesn't help the stereotype that white people think all black people look alike. I mean, the whole point of this is like Sinbad's character. Oh shit! I just saw the trailer here, and I don't know. It's got the pedophile from Beetlejuice there. Oh shit! I forgot he was in that. The point is, jerk off. Anyway, so he's supposed to be his friend that he hasn't seen in a while. Pick him up at the airport, and it's a whole thing there. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's a cute little movie. If you want to check it out, go ahead. It's definitely a big advertisement for McDonald's. I'll tell you, McDonald's is all over this movie. So keep in mind it's the mid '90s. They weren't serving salads yet. Boo hoo hoo. You can actually get your food fast. And I don't know. Remember when you used to go to McDonald's back in the day, and you had maybe $3-4 in your pocket, and you can get a burger, big ass burger, fries, and a fucking drink you can swim in after. Use it in the summers as a pool. And now I don't know. Fucking meals are like $15. The burger's all smushed and shit. You feel like Michael Douglas there and Falling Down. Holy fuck, it sucks, man. McDonald's, get your shit together, man. My God, your apple pies are just fucking horrible now. And how dare you use shitty sprinkles in. Use those little shit, the ones you get at Dollarama, the little shitty sprinkles, not the really good ones, the rectangular ones, those hard little. It just sucks. The point is, House Guest. If you want to check it out, cool. I won't be offended. I think it's a decent movie. That's all I'm saying. But McDonald's, fuck, man. Stewart saves his family. Of course he does. Voice announcer. Of course he. Listen, he was the announcer of the '90s, man. He fucking listen. long story short, you did a voiceover, okay? The first person on your list, boom, Phil Hartman. That's it. Plain and simple. That's it. He was on the Ren and Stimpy show. I wasn't a big fan of the show. I was more of a Beavis and Butthead guy, but I don't know about you, but with Beavis and Butthead, I wasn't like people like the music videos. I don't know. I always felt that showed or slowed the show down. I don't know. I mean, I didn't mind it, but I don't know. That's why I like the movies. But anyways, John Larroquette show. He showed up on an episode of that. Love John, funny dude. State of the Union, Undressed. Bill Clinton. Okay. Why not? Bill. He played such a good Bill Clinton. If you ever have the chance to, check out his impersonation of Phil Hartman. Very good. I'm sure you can see it on YouTube. So everybody goes. That's why I'm there now. Please subscribe. Thank you. Nightstand. Is a TV series. Dana Carvey show. Okay. So we all remember that first sketch, with him taking off the shirt and the nipples, and it was fucking weird. I'm not gonna lie. But Dana Carvey is a funny fucking dude. Okay. Of course, you're gonna help out your buddy, your ex Saturday Night Live buddy there. Why not? Okay, Dana Carvey show, very underrated. You watch it to this day, watch it today, it's still good. Shows like the Ben Stiller show. It's Mr. Show, that was great too. All these shows, like, we take for granted like what real good comedy is. Especially nowadays with the PC world. Beating the shit out of us. That's why nobody's going to the movies anymore unless they're, I don't know, it involves Top Gun, and even the second one. I don't understand what the big deal with that movie was. I'm sorry, man. I like Tom Cruise, but I don't know. The last Mission Impossible was good. I'll give him that. That was pretty good though. Less talking scenes, more action. But I'm just saying. But yeah, definitely check out the Dana Carvey show. Very funny dude. Probably one of the funniest human beings of all time. Okay. Sergeant Bilko. We all know it was a show, or at least people that are listening to this podcast that are, I don't know, probably almost 70. The movie itself, But it was ironic that he was doing that in his audition, and then, years later, he's in the the TV or the show the show that was a TV show, then a movie, and now it's a movie, and But it was the 90s. I don't know. They were making all these shows, like the Beverly Hillbillies, and I don't know. None of them worked. You know what I mean? It was just the same ideas and shit all over again. Just watch the old shows. They're better. Caroline the City. He was a host in that show. He was uncredited. Okay. Seinfeld. Man on Phone. Voice uncredited. Really? I did not know that.
Hello?
Is this Elaine Marie Bennis?
Yeah. Who's this?
We're with the American Medical Association, the AMA. Can you confirm the correct spelling of your last name? Is it Benes?
Yeah, what is this about?
Goodbye.
Hello? Hello?
What?
Oh,
Get off the line. We're trying to make another call.
Well, there you go. That was I didn't even think of that. Yeah, that was Phil Hartman. There you go. So I've done a few podcasts. If you check out the ones I've done, your thoughts on some horrible doctors out there. I mean, just So it is hard to find a good doctor. So, but Seinfeld, yeah. I don't know if you guys have heard of that show, but yeah, it's one of the best shows ever. So, of course, Saturday Night Live. See, I told you. IMDb always does this. I don't know. They always mention it like way later. I don't know why, but great show. He was great on that. There you go. I went through this already. There you go. Van Halen. Yeah, I mentioned this before. He was in the Video Hits Volume 1. Of course, he's going to be in that. Jingle All the Way, a 1996 Christmas classic. Oh boy. What's the rating on this one? 5.7 out of 10. Bullshit. A father vows to get his son a Turbo Man action figure for Christmas. However, every store is sold out, and he must travel all over town and compete with everybody else in order to find one. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to lie to you. Like I said before, this is in my Christmas rotation. I don't care. I'll probably end up watching in the next few weeks. You know, I always like to start with the not so good ones and then kind of go into kind of like Home Alone, Christmas Vacation, Bad Santa kind of vibe. You know what I mean, before Christmas. But it's a great movie. I don't care. I have the extended version. I mean, does that make a difference? Maybe. But point is, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Sinbad, he's back, and Phil Hartman's there. Did Phil Hartman and Sinbad have any scenes together in this movie? That is a good question. I mean, there's a scene at the end where everyone's at the parade, so technically, yes. I don't know. I don't know. Rita Wilson, Robert Conrad, who I don't remember this guy in the movie. Oh, wait, was he the cop that kept pulling over Schwarzenegger? Yeah, that's him, I think. And then Martin Mull, he was the gay guy in Roseanne and the kick-ass pharmacist in Two and a Half Men. Jake Lloyd, who I don't know, he kind of looks like Josh Hartnett's little brother now. I don't know. He was the guy in Star Wars. Jim Belushi, Lori Newman. So, yeah, check it out, guys. It's funny. Listen, look, Schwarzenegger tried to do a comedy, for Christmas. It didn't work, but you know what? It works for me. You know why? Because I love the guy. He's Arnold. He's got to do what he's got to do. And you know what? And to prove how shitty this movie really is, on IMDb, they're not even playing a trailer for Jingle All the Way. I don't even know what they're playing. They're playing some kind of, what was it saying? Schwarzenegger auditioned for roles in Superman and Flash Gordon. Okay. I did not know that. The sad thing is I did a podcast about Arnold and I didn't include that. But better late than never, right? He's supposed to be the giant in The Princess Bride. There you go. Okay. But come on. You can't get anybody than Andre the Giant. I mean, cock, he was fucking awesome. Rest in peace, man. By the way, that guy had what, 6 beers or something with a Ric Flair. That's fucking awesome. Oh boy, trailing off into another world on the Malaka podcast. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, I would still check out this movie, okay? And the whole point of this movie, like the theme was at the time, the Tickle Me Elmo doll was out, and I don't know, everybody fucking wanted it. And I remember at the time, like people were advertising it once again in newspapers, which is something nobody uses anymore, for like $1,000 per doll. So I'm sure the whole thing was it was making fun of that, and there you go. So I would check it out just for shits and gigs. Why not? Watch House Guest and then, watch Jingle All the Way. Make it a Sinbad night. All right? There you go. The Second Civil War is a TV movie he did. Didn't see that one. The Simpsons Virtual Springfield. Okay, well, I guess I can talk about The Simpsons, obviously. Hi, I'm Trev McClure. You might remember me from shitty podcasts since the Malaka podcast. All right. So, I mean, that you really believed he was these characters. I mean, that Lionel Hutz. Before there was Better Call Saul, there was Lionel Hutz.
Uh-oh. We've drawn Judge Snyder.
Is that bad?
Well, he's had it in for me ever since I kind of ran over his dog.
You did?
Well, replace the word kinda with the word repeatedly and the word dog with son.
One more.
Now, let's get down to business.
To my executor, Lionel Hutz, I leave $50,000.
Mr. Hutz?
You'd be surprised how often that works. You really would.
last one.
Mr. Hutz, why are you burning all your personal papers?
As of this moment, Lionel Hutz no longer exists. Say hello to Miguel Sanchez.
He played that role perfectly. And obviously, this is when the Simpsons were good. Keep in mind the monorail episode Conan O'Brien wrote. I don't know if he co-wrote it or with people, whatever. But he was there between seasons 2 and 5, and Phil Hartman was always voicing all these people. 2 to 5 I meant with Conan O'Brien writing, and then I don't know. Once season 10 hit, that we all know what happened there. But once Phil Hartman passed, I mean, they even said, "Listen, we can't replace him. He was too good." Like everybody agreed on there, and there you go. So it's it's a shame. Honestly, it really is. But still lives in reruns, and there you go. But when you had the chance, check out The Simpsons, especially when Phil Hartman was on there. Playing the few characters there, and I think you'll like it. Okay, but again, don't watch past season 10. There's no real point. I mean, even the movie, they came out with it years later, and I mean, what's the point? Ren and Stimpy, Space Madness, more voiceover work. Why not? Showed up on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Okay, so you go from working with Conan to Jay Leno for some reason. That sounds like a downgrade, but okay. Blasto, video game voice. Why not? News radio. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know a lot about the series. I have seen a couple episodes here and there. All I can say is this, from what I've seen, everybody from this cast is pretty good. I know Andy Dick is part of it, but I don't know. What are you going to do? Speck on the diamond. It is what it is. But it's a very good show. Very sad when they had the last episode involving, I guess technically not involving Phil Hartman, you know what I mean? But like when he passed, they did it in a very sweet way, and you can tell like everyone's reaction in that room at that point was, very sincere. It wasn't any acting. I mean, oh man, that must have been a tough day for everybody there. I feel for everybody, man. But again, they decided they couldn't do the show anymore without him. So if you're seeing like kind of a pattern here, I mean, that's much of an impact Phil Hartman has on like everybody he works with. It's pretty crazy. So. I mean, great cast of people, too. I mean, you got David Foley, who, I love from Kids in the Hall. Stephen Roots, who's done numerous jobs. But a lot of people still love him for Milton in Office Space, for the, he still says to this day, people still give him red staplers. Andy Dick, unfortunately. Maura Tierney, Vicki Lewis, Joe Rogan, who apparently I just found out recently, this role was supposed to be played by Ray Romano, and they taped the pilot. They said it just didn't feel right. They wanted the character to go into another direction there, and long story short, they got Joe Rogan, and Ray Romano did a set on David Letterman, I believe, and then after that got offered the show, on CBS there, I think, and there you go. The rest is history. So sometimes not getting the job is the best thing for your career. And Joe Rogan, he's I don't know, he's Spotify apparently has a lot of money, so yeah, he's doing pretty well too. Him and Drake are I love Spotify. Of course, Phil Hartman, Candy Alexander, John Lovitz, Patrick Warburton, Brad Rowie, I don't know how you say that. Lauren Graham was on a few episodes. I didn't know that. So there you go. David Cross, Bob Odenkirk on a few episodes too. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. So very funny show, full of. I gotta find these episodes. I'm sure they're on streaming wherever, but. I do remember this being a very good show. I mean, I said that for years about Frasier. I finally caught up with that. So that definitely paid off for sure. I don't mean that in a smart way. I mean, like, Frasier is one of the best shows I've ever seen. The newer episodes, it's okay so far. It's I don't know. You miss the old people. Let's just say that. But they had Maris in one episode there, so that's good. But give it time. But News Radio, yeah, I would like to go back and actually watch that entire series. It was on until 95, 98, 75 episodes. So yeah. Unfortunately, Phil Hartman's passing, had a lot to do with that, and yeah, that sucks, man. Honestly, but from what I've seen, very funny show. When you have the chance, check it out. Third Rock from the Sun. This is one of these shows that was really popular at the time, but no one ever talks about now. Do you notice that? Or I'm not I'm not sounding like a dick or nothing. I'm just saying it's just I remember the show was really popular. I remember at one point they were promoting a 3D episode. You had to get shades from buying a chocolate bar, which I don't know. I didn't have a problem with. But no one ever talks about this show anymore. But I don't know. Me personally, I always like John Lithgow when he plays a bad guy. I always feel he does a better job there. Not that he's not funny. I'm just saying. But yeah, Gordon Levitt there, everybody, and yeah, he was in an episode of that, or maybe two. I don't know. It's two different names, so who knows. Small Soldiers. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, this is a cartoon that's rated PG-13. Came out in 1998. I still don't know if this is technically a kid's movie. Is it meant for young adults? I don't know, because it was kind of like on one of those movies. It couldn't really decide if it was for kids, and they tried to get rid of or put in a few more R-rated shit there. But I thought it was a decent little movie. Didn't get the best rating, 6.2 out of 10. I mean, it was all right for what it was, and yeah, I don't know, you want to check it out? Go ahead. I don't know, the animation's pretty good for its time. I just remember Phil Hartman in it. Was he? Maybe he was the father. I don't know. I don't remember. But one of the voices. I get. Oh no, it says Phil. Always. Did they ever change his name? Phil Fimple. No, shut up. That was his name in the movie. Phil Fimple. Fimple. I think I'm saying it right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Obviously, I mentioned The Simpsons. He was fucking great in that. Again, IMDb, thanks for slowing me up. Buster and Chauncey's Silent Night. It was a video. He was a voice in that. And the last thing that ever came out that involved Phil Hartman was Happily Ever After Fairy Tales for Every Child. It was a surprise, surprise. He was a game show host. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Oh yeah. When he played Frankenstein too on he played Frankenstein on Saturday Night Live. That was always good. Yeah, he again, he barely said anything, but it was just fucking hilarious. But yeah, man, Phil Hartman, we lost that guy way too soon. Way too soon. I mean, everybody loved him. I mean, except for I don't know, apparently Andy Dick and. I mean, he did a great Frank Sinatra. Don't get me wrong. So I'm gonna assume the better impersonation you do of Frank Sinatra, the more Frank Sinatra won't like it.
Who would you rather nail? I disqualify myself because I done them both.
I think you're a bloody stupid old fart.
You're all talk, Blondie. You want a piece of me? I'm right here.
Don't provoke me, old man.
You don't scare me. I got chunks of guys like you in my stool.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, you got Phil Hartman here as Frank Sinatra. And you have, believe it or not, Sting dressed up as the great Billy Idol, who did a great job in The Wedding Singer, by the way. And yeah, they end the sketch with him, I don't know, almost beating up Mike Myers. And yeah, it was the 90s, man. They could do whatever they wanted. And by golly, it was great.
Issue number 3, the bald chick. What's with her head? Let's start with a chick.
What gives, cue ball? I'm looking at you, I'm thinking 14 in the side pocket.
Now there he was making fun of, Shane O'Connor, and I'm okay with that. Point is, ladies and gentlemen, he did such a great job on Saturday Night Live, and just with all his characters, it's very sad to see that he's gone. And let's be honest, I mean, he would still be here, still killing it. Instead, a cunt killed him. And a lot of people, again, are always looking for, some kind of sympathy and, she wasn't well. Yeah, again, a lot of people aren't well, but they're not, killing innocent people. Okay? Like from what I'm told, they were, having an argument before going to bed, whatever. And now this is what I just heard. So I heard that Phil Hartman apparently said to her that he wanted a divorce, like from her, and then he just went to bed. So that, I mean, I will say this: if you're gonna divorce a woman, and if you're gonna say it to her, in person, and I'm assuming, not through a text or Instagram like most people do these days, and if you're living in the same house, you probably shouldn't go to bed after, and say, hey, we'll deal with this tomorrow. I'm not saying he did that, but I'm just telling you what I heard. And someone's got to go. Either you or the cunt. Someone's got to go. So I'm just telling you what I heard. I don't know what the fuck happened, but either way, man. I mean, he went to bed. The cunt shot him, and then apparently he or she called her sister or some kind of relatives. And she was drunk, coked up. I think she was on, some kind of medication at the time, and she shot herself. And man, that is fucking crazy. I mean, really, and like when everyone heard the news, like they thought, I don't know, maybe something went down, or something, like else went down, or because again, I mentioned that Phil Hartman had all these guns and everything, but I mean, it's just crazy, man. I mean, and then I was watching the special here, the Dark Side of Comedy here, which you guys should all watch, by the way. It's a good little series on Vice. Apparently, he gave her a gun, like as a gift. Now, they didn't really make it clear that was the gun that she used. I mean, everyone just assumes that's probably what it was, or it probably was the same gun. But I mean, man, that is talk about irony in its finest. I mean, holy shit. That's crazy, man. I mean, it's a pretty crazy life that Phil Hartman has, led. And it is sad that it had to, end, him being 50, still very young, his career didn't show any signs of slowing down, Worst case scenario, the guy does voiceovers for the rest of his life, It's very sad. It is. And, and like I said, I always forget Phil Hartman is a Canadian. I look at him, I just don't see Canadian. I don't know if it's just me, whatever, but I don't know, maybe because he moved to the States and people associate him with that and, that life. But, I miss the guy, man. Honestly, Phil Hartman was such a good dude. And, I know he had his demons and whatever, but then again, who doesn't? You know what I mean? But to go out like that, it's just, it's sad. I mean, the guy had so much more life in him, I mean, who knows what kind of, maybe would have went to more serious roles and, still doing commercials and voiceover work, and and the Simpsons, would still actually be good, but I don't know. What are you gonna do? But it has been 25 years since his passing. Which I can't believe it's been that amount of time. But every time we still hear his voice, we still remember Phil Hartman.
I'm Troy McClure, and I'll leave you with what we all came here to see: hardcore nudity.
Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your booty. Shake your booty. Oh, shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your booty. Shake your booty.
All right, boys. Let's stop in here for a second. I'm a little parched from the jog.
Oh, sir, we've only been jogging for 3 blocks. Besides, Mrs. Flynn asked us not to let you into any more fast food places.
Well, I just want to mingle with the American people, talk with some real folks, maybe get a Diet Coke or something.
Fine. But please, don't tell Mrs. Clinton.
Jim, let me tell you something. There's going to be a whole bunch of things we don't tell Mrs. Clinton. Fast food is the least of our worries.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm just a caveman.